My guest today is Yushika Jolly, the founder of Birds of Paradise, a semi permanent hair color brand that was founded just a couple months ago. After facing, studying, and revamping the struggles of buying a variety of hair colors, Yushika felt the need to fill this vacuum and create a brand that got semi permanent hair coloring to India. Her love for hair color started young, and while she faced judgment for her choices, she realized dyeing her hair was a very strong medium of expression for her. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Yushika. Hi, Yushika. Welcome to the show. It's so good to have
Hi,
you.
same here. Thank you for having me.
That's our pleasure. So, Yushika, we have a bunch of questions, so I'd just like to dive right in. Our first question has to be, understanding more about you as a person. So, what kind of childhood did you have? Could you run us a little through your journey so far?
Yeah, sure. So I was born in Punjab, but I was brought up in a very small town called Ankleshwar. It's in Gujarat. It's an industrial town.
Mm-hmm.
So my childhood was quite normal. I would like to say, like I went to a normal school and then I joined NIFT. It's a fashion college where I
Right.
studied fashion design for 4 years. That's where, I just fell in love with colors and I knew, like something in fashion and design is what I want to do in future,
Mm-hmm.
not confined to garments or
Mm-hmm.
clothing. And then I went to London and that's where, like I saw there were so many colors on shelves and that is how I got into hair coloring, like extensively. Like I used to color before also, but that is where I got to try so many brands and stuff. So yeah, when I came back and that is where, like my journey began as an entrepreneur.
So, I mean, this is very interesting. I'd love to ask you because you said your background is fashion. What really
Yeah.
led you to build a hair color brand? Like, was there an experience that, led you to it, or was it something that you just, found along the way?
So my father had industries for these dyes and raw materials that are used in hair colors. So I used to
Mm-hmm.
always go to his factories and get these dyes and color my hair on my own and do a lot of DIY activities.
Oh, damn
So
nice.
yeah, so that is where it began, and then obviously that is where it started, and then I eventually it led to what Paradise is today.
That's amazing. So, your brand launched very, very recently. And as a fellow entrepreneur, I'm very intrigued to know, like, what are the challenges that you think you are facing while you build the brand?
Any business I think is very difficult, especially in today's time and age, when D2C is flourishing and, so many people
Correct.
are already knowing about you can order online and get the products and you
Correct.
directly talk to consumers. There's no middlemen. So I feel,
Mm-hmm.
like talking to consumers and understanding their pain points and then, acting upon it. It's all very real time, even shipping, logistics, everything. So I
Correct.
would say challenges, come at every point of the journey, and I don't think it's ever going to be easier. You'll just get used to it.
That's true. I mean, yeah, like I've been doing this for 2 years, and I'll definitely say that yeah, you just get used to it. You grow like thick skin, and I think you just learn how to motor through all these challenges. So hair and clothing are both very powerful tools of expression. And how do you think that, hair color is can be used to express your own, like personality or what you really stand for? How do you think hair color does that when it comes to expression?
I feel like it's very similar to what makeup is. I would say
Mhm.
clothing is something. I would say you still have that choice of like everybody has to wear clothing at the end of the day. It's not like makeup is an option. So is hair coloring. It's an option that you can choose if you
Mhm.
really feel strongly about it.
Mhm.
So I feel hair coloring is obviously a very critical part of self-expression. Like if you want to, like especially in India these days, people are experimenting with various colors, not just brown and basic reds. Like the
Correct.
wave is changing, and like so, like every like clothing comes in all colors, and I feel so does hair colors. Like if you see,
Correct. Correct.
so I would say like obviously color play a very important role in expressing yourself. So does makeup, clothing, whatever. It's your decision, and
Correct.
hair is now an integral part. So that is what we're trying to do here. Like channelize the whole hair coloring into this, expressing yourself
that
narrative.
that's beautiful because like I feel with time people are really changing I feel like people are experimenting a lot more now with exposure to Western culture or this whole boom of technology. People have moved beyond the usual browns, reds, and blondes, and like you see all sorts of colors, even in the hair color category. So one very interesting thing that I saw about Birds of Paradise was that you guys are a semi permanent hair color brand. Is there a
Yeah.
reason why it's semi-permanent? Like, would you want people to experiment more, or is it because that's the material you use right now and you may venture into something else?
Currently, we're doing semi-permanent dyes. The whole point was just to, like not be fixated with just one color.
Correct.
And people can, experiment themselves. And, you don't have to stick to one color all your life.
Correct.
Like if we are born with, black hair, people generally think that, okay, I will have now black hair for the rest of my life. No, that's not the case, right? Like with semi-permanent, you have the choice to change your hair color
Right.
at your beck and call. Like, okay, it's been 3 days and I feel like, I want another color. And that is what you can actually do.
And are these colors like very easy to apply for somebody who's at home doing it themselves? And what is the longevity of the color? Like how long would it last?
Yeah, so the colors are quite easy to use. It's as simple as, like apply and then leave for 10-20 minutes and then just wash off. But the only catch is you need to have bleached hair for the color to deposit. That is, you need to remove your existing pigment from your hair. That is melanin in our case, like because we have dark hair as Indians.
Right.
So yeah, that is the only tough part. And then the longevity is around 10 to 15 washes on an average. It also depends on the color. Like warmer shades tend to fade off quicker than cooler shades. So there's a lot of also it depends on your hair history. Like have you been coloring before or are you not? Like is your hair thin, thick? What shampoo you use? What temperature water do you shampoo with? So yeah.
This is a great way to encourage people to experiment with colors. Like personally, I'm somebody who will really think things through before I go in for a hair color. So this is like a great option for someone to just try on and then be sure if this is what they want, and then maybe go in for something permanent or keep changing, like you said. Like anyway, change is something that is in here to last, and I feel like you're encouraging that, which is a great thought.
Yeah, I agree. Even with semi-permanent, like it's a DIY brand, but we always say, like if you're not comfortable, you can always go to a salon for the first time, get it done. And then, eventually, since it's the color change, you don't have to go to salon every time. You can refresh the color at home with these kits and you can change your color at home. It's the bleaching, that we suggest. If you're not comfortable, you can seek professional help. And then, you at home, you can do whatever you want, like however you want it.
Yeah, I mean, that seems fair. As a brand, how are you guys and Bird of Paradise practicing sustainability? What would be your take on it?
So in order to make the brand more sustainable and eco-friendly, we've actually not used plastic jars for our color containers. We use glass jars and not even plastic lids. We have metal lids. And in terms of the brush that comes with the pack, it's not the usual plastic brush. It's a bamboo fiber brush. So we've taken some steps. Like obviously, we cannot say that we're 100% eco-friendly. We're trying to be there, reach there.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously, few plastic elements are still there.
Yeah.
But I guess eventually
small
we'll get
steps. No, I mean that I agree. Like even for us as a brand, a Curve Story, like it's been a lot of. It's a long journey, right? You can't just get up and say that one day we're fully sustainable, because unfortunately, plastic has been a part of everybody's life. It is a transition that may take some time. But the fact that you as a brand owner are aware and you're trying to make these small changes, that is what really matters. So now another question that I have for you would be that, as an entrepreneur, it's very, it's not the easiest task to have a great work-life balance. So how do you sort of work towards achieving that every day?
So I agree. Like it's difficult to maintain work-life balance, and in my case, all my family works with me in the business. My husband and my mother and my brother.
Wow.
It's very difficult to separate my personal life from my professional life. So it's always about work, whether at home or at factory. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think at one point it overlaps if it's like this, where your entire family is a part of the business. I think you kind of, do you tend to like
because I
bring
would say,
work
my
home?
life is about work because, we've just integrated seamlessly. Yeah, we've just seamlessly integrated the work in our just personal spaces, so it doesn't feel like work now.
Which is good, I think, because in the long run, it will matter that, you have like your support system at work as well as at home.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Yushika, you're a young entrepreneur. So, I wanted to ask you, like, where do you see Birds of Paradise go in the future? Now that it's a nascent brand, you've just about started. What is your long-term vision for the brand?
I would like to make it like a one-stop shop for everything hair. So essentially, like a hair care line is in pipeline. So I would like to expand on that. Also for colors, it's just not semi-permanent, right? Like colors come in permanent format, temporary formats, demi-permanent, so many, like formats. So I would like to also experiment and dabble into various kinds of hair colors. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things that are planned and that we can do with Paradise. But obviously, we also have to understand the temperament of our audience. What is it that they want, and accordingly tailor our products. Yeah.
So I want to end this conversation with a quick, fun, rapid fire with you. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So what are the 3 brand values that you say Paradise stands for?
I would say informative, I would say desi, I would say homegrown, and then I would say sustainable, at least trying to be.
That's great. Okay, tell me your absolute no-brainer go-to outfit.
Just jeans and a white tee.
Okay, so are you a classic style person?
I would say yes. Yeah, very basic.
What is your favorite hair color at the moment?
I'm sporting a violet look, but yeah, I think purple and violet is my favorite. Sassy. In terms of hair.
Tell me one practice that helps you stay grounded.
Just focus on your work and not care about what others are thinking, writing, saying.
That's a valid point. Do you have a role model? If yes, who?
I would say no. I'm quite self-motivated. So I would say I just, focus on making myself better, and I don't really look up to someone.
Oh man, you've spoken like a true entrepreneur. Is there a show or a book that you're reading or watching right now?
I have no time for TV. I think I'm just so occupied with work that I really don't have the bandwidth to invest in a Netflix show as of now.
I mean, that I can relate to. And because this is the Made for More podcast, I'd like to end the question with, is there a moment or an experience that you had that made you realize that you were made for more?
Yeah, I would say, like when I was in London and I saw all these hair color brands, I was, I just thought, why is it not in India? And, what can I do to bring this change? So right. I think that was the moment that I thought, maybe I'm made for more, doing better things and taking this to India where it's not there.
Yeah, I think you saw a vacuum and you've done an amazing job with filling it. And I'm very excited to see what you and Paradise does in the months and years to come. And all the best. And thank you so much for being a part of this conversation and sharing your story with us. It was amazing.
Thank you, Akansha, for having me. Same here. Thank you.
Like this Sochcast? Tune in for more with the Sochcast app from the Google Play Store.